this tutorial, I'm going to be demonstrating the breading technique. Now this technique can be used and applied to a range of different ingredients, but today I'm going to be showing you using raw chicken. Now it depends as to how you cut your chicken or whatever ingredients you're using as to what the outcome will be once you've breaded it. So if I were to leave the chicken pieces as they are and bread them, they'd be chicken goujons or chicken fillets if they were slightly bigger. But I'm actually cutting mine down into little bite-sized pieces, so you might know these as chicken nuggets. Now it's really important, as with all the practical sessions, regardless of what it is you're cooking, that you try and ensure that you cut pieces evenly. You're probably already aware at this stage that if you cut different sizes, then this could affect the cooking time needed for the various pieces. And you're at risk of either undercooking, which would be really dangerous in terms of food poisoning, or overcooking, which then is going to affect the taste and texture. You can see I've already got my baking tray ready with some greaseproof paper for the baking process, but I'm not going to place the chicken on there just yet because we have to actually go through the stages of breading before that happens. Now you can buy breadcrumbs already breaded, so they'll come in a pot and you can purchase them in that form. However, probably a more cost-effective way of making your own breadcrumbs is just to take some older stale bread and blend them up to create the breadcrumbs. This also is a good use of something that might otherwise have been wasted. So this bread was too stale for me to eat, so instead I'm going to use it to create my own breadcrumb for the breading technique. So just if you've got some kind of blender or mixer, just break up the bread into smaller chunks and then blend them up till you get a fine crumb mixture. Once you're happy with the mixture, you need to then lay them out in either a shallow bowl or a plate, and this is the format we need to use in order to bread whatever ingredients we're working with. So I've got a nice fine crumb bread mixture here, but this is also a good opportunity to add in other flavouring and seasoning. So I'm seasoning with some salt and pepper, and I'm also going to add dried herbs, but you could experiment with other ingredients to mix with your breadcrumb. I would suggest you sticking to dry ingredients rather than wet ones, but this will mean that your breaded product at the end will have a lot more flavour than if you were to just use plain breadcrumbs. And once they're all mixed up, we're then ready to go through the process of breading our ingredients. So you're going to need to start by having 3 shallow bowls or plates to begin with, and you want to lay them out in the order that I show you. When we lay our equipment out like this, there's a technical culinary term, it's called mise en place. So it's the French culinary term, and it's laying out your equipment as you need it. So I'm going to have 3 shallow bowls in my case. In the first one, you need to place some plain flour. In the second one, I'm going to be cracking the egg and beating it with a fork so that the yolk is mixed in with the egg white. And then the third one is my breaded mixture. Obviously you don't want any eggshell in this. So we're ready to start breading our ingredients now. In my case, it's chicken pieces. So you're going to work through the 3 plates or dishes in the order you've laid them out. So the first one is the flour, the second one is the egg yolk, and then the third one is the bread. So you each step making sure that your ingredient, whatever you're using, whether it's fish, chicken or a vegetable, is well coated in the flour on all surfaces, then the yolk, and then the crumb mix. So basically the flour and the egg yolk help everything to stick together, and that's why you need all 3 ingredients. If you try and skip one out, then it's really unlikely that your bread mixture is going to hold on to your ingredient, whatever it is, whether it's chicken, fish or vegetable. So you've effectively created your own little factory line here. You're creating a batch of nuggets in this instance, and you're working through the same process over and over again to create nice uniform nuggets. Now, there is a key tip here for ensuring that you don't end up breadcrumbing your own fingers, and that's trying to keep your wet and dry hands separate. So try and keep one hand only dealing with the dry ingredients and one hand only dealing with the egg yolk. I'd also recommend that once you've breaded your ingredient, you place it straight onto a baking tray. There's no point putting it back onto another surface to then place back on the tray. So I'm straight away, as soon as they're breaded, it goes straight on my tray, ready to go in the oven. Now, you might be familiar with foods like this that have been or come from fast food restaurants where they would have been deep fried in fat. I'm actually going to be baking these nuggets, which is going to be a much healthier version of cooking them, because obviously I'm not adding any additional fat to them, and it takes away any safety concerns in terms of dealing with high temperatures of fat as well. I'd recommend you do the same with yours.